Hello friends, today we are going to learn about how to plot the different points on psychometric chart, how to plot the different conditions in psychometric chart. So before going to plot the different points or different location or different processes on psychometric chart, first we have to study how the psychometric chart, what are the different kinds of lines are there on the psychometric chart. So as you can see, the different current lines are shown on this chart. There are some vertical lines, some horizontal lines, some curved lines, and the other parameters. So whenever you have to plot any parameters, you have to use two or more lines together. So first of all, we will start with the dry bulb temperature. So dry bulb temperature is nothing but it is the temperature which is measured by an ordinary thermometer. So on a psychometric chart, for any point for dry bulb temperature to be plotted, it is represented by the color of blue line in the given chart. So as you can see, the bottommost line represents the dry bulb temperature. In this chart, it is shown by 30 degrees Celsius towards 120 degrees Celsius. The vertical straight line shown on the blue is nothing but it represents the dry bulb temperature. Second one parameter that we have to study is the wet bulb temperature. So wet bulb temperature is nothing but the temperature of air which is measured by an ordinary thermometer when its bulb is covered with a wet wick or with wet cloth. So in this chart, it is represented by the yellowish line. The inclined yellowish line which is there on the saturation curve, starting from saturation curve until it goes till the weight of water vapor in 1 pound of air and towards the dry bulb temperature. Now the curved line which is shown by the violet line is nothing but it is the relative humidity. So relative humidity, it is shown in the percentages. When it is 100% humid, that means the saturation level is at 100%. That means the relative humidity is 100%, means the saturation level is there. After that, if you add any moisture to the air, it doesn't take that moisture content. So that reddish line or the maroon line shows the it shows the relative humidity. After that, we are going to see the dew point temperature. So the dew point temperature is shown by the green line. The horizontal green line starting from the curve, saturation curve towards the weight of water vapor in 1 pound of dry air. So shown by the green line. The extreme right scale which shows 20, 40, 60 like that, where it is written the weight of water vapor in 1 pound, it is nothing but the scale of saturated humidity, or you can say specific humidity, not saturated vapor, it represents the specific humidity. So two kinds of humidity we could find from the psychometric chart. One is the relative humidity, which is shown by the maroon color, and it is a curve shown in percentages. Second one is nothing but the specific humidity, which are represented by the green line. After that, we could calculate the other parameters also, which would be shown on the other chart. Before going to that, we are going to see how the different parameters could be calculated, or how the different parameters have been represented on psychometric chart. See, if you see in the chart given below, the horizontal bottom line represents the dry bulb temperature. After that, the vertical line will represent the moisture content that is the specific humidity or the water vapor present in dry kg of air. Then the slant vertical line will represent the volume. On the curve, it represents the dew point temperature, wettable temperature. The moisture content will be shown from the specific humidity, and the curved line will show the relative humidity. So in this way, the various parameters have been shown on the psychometric chart. Now we are going to see what are the different kinds of processes are represented on psychometric chart. So it is nothing but it is just like your directions. The various kinds of directions. The vertical straight line will represent the humidification process. If the point is going from down to up, it will represent the humidification. If the point is coming from up to down, it will represent the dehumidification. Likewise, if it is going from left to right, it will represent the sensible heat, and when the point is going from right to left, it will represent the sensible cooling. So before going to the next part, we have to see what is humidification, dehumidification, sensible heating, sensible cooling. So humidification. So how we can define humidification? So humidification is nothing but a process of adding of water molecule to the air is known as the humidification. Similarly, dehumidification could be defined as the removal of water molecule from the air is known as the dehumidification. Similarly, sensible heating is nothing but the heating of air without changing its phase or just increasing the temperature of that air is known as sensible heating. Similarly, sensible cooling is nothing but the drop in the temperature of air or the decrease in temperature of air without changing its phase is known as the sensible cooling. So when these are the basic four processes, from these four processes there are another four processes when the two of the processes combine. Likewise, we could see the inclined line towards the right, it will show heating and humidification. That means the air is being heated and then humidified. Similarly, on the left hand side, we could see that evaporative cooling. Evaporative cooling is also known as cooling with humidification. That means the air is first cooled and then humidified. Similarly, on the downwards left towards the left, we could see cooling and dehumidification. That means the air is first cooled and then dehumidified. Similarly, on the right hand side, we could see chemical dehumidifying. That is known as the sensible heating with dehumidification. That means the air is first heated and then dehumidified. So in this way, you could represent any psychometric process. So these are the 8 psychometric processes that could be represented on a psychometric chart. Now we are going to see the different points, how you could find out the different parameters. If you see, this is one of the type of psychometric chart which has been used. So again, you could see on the extreme left side a vertical line which shows H. That H is nothing but it is the enthalpy of a particular point. If we considering a point P, so if I have to calculate the enthalpy of that point P, I could draw just a vertical line towards that enthalpy scale and I would get its enthalpy. Similarly, if I have to calculate its wet bulb temperature of point P, then also I will draw the same line, but I will draw that line up to the saturation curve. Similarly, if I have to get the dew point temperature, I would draw a horizontal line from point P towards the saturation curve. If I have to calculate the relative humidity, then I would see which curve is passing through point P, and that curve will represent my relative humidity. Similarly, if I have to find out its specific humidity or the moisture content in air, so what I will do, I will draw a horizontal line from point towards the right hand side till the scale at right hand side. So that will give me the amount of water vapor present in that moist air, which is known as the specific humidity. If I have to calculate the dry bulb temperature, then I would just draw a vertical line, straight vertical line towards the downside. At the bottom, I will get its dry bulb temperature. If I have to calculate the specific volume, then I would draw an inclined line from point P towards the downward side of dry bulb temperature. So there is also a scale of specific volume. So likewise, by different processes, this complex chart is made, which is known as the psychometric chart, which is used for the different kinds of condition of air could be determined from this chart. So this was the basic idea of how you can plot, or how you can analyze, or how you can determine the various parameters of a given point on a psychometric chart.